Inside Foos presents FoosTalk Live.
The three words that come to my mind are Steve Murray and then iconic. And that's what this event is. It comes from Steve Murray, all the people that he supports there, supports him, that surround him. You can feel the love in this room and the love for this sport that everybody has here. And it's a great experience to experience, to be honest with you. And then to see the Swiss system, to watch people, the entire room at one point, which is nobody was walking or milling about. They were just playing. Then it stops. Then they go back 10 minutes later and they're playing. Then it stops. No out and two. The experience you gain from that, I'm telling you, is one of the best things that could happen to foosball.
It's FoosTalk Live.
You talking to me?
Compelling and lively banter.
Are you going to talk to us?
Talking foosball.
Foosball was how I measured my value as a man. You took that away.
Players and fans, promoters and pros. Unedited and raw.
Talk.
Living in the moment.
We have a lot of important things to talk about.
All while practicing social distancing.
Cool. We'll talk. No big whoop.
Let's get this thing started. FoosTalk Live. Coming to you live from the studios of Inside Foos, it's the 112th episode of FoosTalk Live. Also being brought to you tonight on Twitch TV. Brought to you by InsideFoos.com, offering monthly subscriptions with access to some of the most exciting matches ever recorded, plus live tournaments, pre- and post-show analysis, interviews, and original programming. Sign up now at InsideFoos.com. Also brought to you by ProtectoFlex, the world's premier foosball safety accessory. Go to Protecto-Flex.com. Brought to you by Rod Lock. Practice more, reach less. The best practice tool in foosball. Visit rod-lock.com. Brought to you by 518 Prints, one of the best printers of promotional items and foosball apparel. Visit 518prints.com. Also brought to you by Foosballers, the movie. This Joe Hesslinger foosball documentary is now available as a worldwide download at foosballersthemovie.com. And also brought to you by USTSO, helping to usher in a new era of competitive foosball. Become a member at usafoosball.com. And yes, brought to you by Foosball Clubs USA, promoting foosball through school systems all over the United States. Visit foosballclubsusa.com and make a donation today. Well, hey there, it's Tom Robinson. It's episode 112, and we're still recovering from last weekend's Texas State Championship. And of course, Jim Stevens was on the road. Of course, we know Jim Stevens because he is the world's greatest play-by-play foosball announcer of all time. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Tom, and hi, everybody. And yeah, we are still kind of recovering from what was an amazing weekend in Texas at DFW Airport last weekend. Steve Murray and company putting on another great show. Players as well. One of the things you get at this tournament is great competition. Of course, that sense of family, the tradition, all of it, the full package, as we've talked about previously. But to work the second major championship of the year last year was a lot of fun.
And a few alterations in this year's competition, of course, with open doubles using a different format, such as the Swiss system, such as it is.
Yep. I'm sure that's going to be, for the top five tonight, it's the top five takeaways from the Texas State Championships, and I'm sure that's going to be one of them.
Oh, can't wait to hear more about that. And yes, he also made it to Texas State, our resident butt smoker, Adam Gilson. Welcome back, Adam.
Every time I hear that, I just shake my head. Resident smoker. What a legacy I've built in foosball in this short year.
Well, I wanted to add something to the intro as well, that you are also an expert when it comes to manufacturing sauerkraut.
Fermenting. I have 33 pounds. Yeah, I've already
in the house.
Had some for dinner in the house, in the hallway.
In the house.
I feel compelled to defend or at least clarify here that for those of you joining us for the first time at Twitch or at Podbean, butt smoking is when you take a pork butt, it's a piece of meat, you smoke it, you get it tender, you eat it. It just wanted to clarify that.
I didn't know there would be any misunderstanding.
No gray area there. But were you asking me about foosball, or were we just talking about?
No, you're right. Your new sauerkraut obsession, it seems.
No, it's been going on for years.
It has. Got it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Never mind. I digress.
Okay.
But yeah, so you survived Texas as well.
I did, by the hair of my chinny chin chins. It was a lot of fun. I can't wait to talk about it later. It's still, Jim, we talked about it while we were there, but it's all still digesting. That was a As you said, Jim, I mean, it's iconic. It's all those things, right? And we're just gonna have to get into it.
Right. Well, we also need to welcome our karaoke master, the man who may have maxed out his credit card buying drinks this past weekend at Texas State. That would be Mark Torres. Mark, hello.
Hey, I'm still reeling over butt smoking and then sauerkraut, and then just like the expectation that everyone knows what that. I mean, I would immediately assume Adam has some other orientations, but besides that, no, it's great, man. I had a great time in Texas State, and it was amazing. And seeing Swiss, well, I guess we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Hi guys, how the hell are you?
What's up?
On Twitch,
Good,
right?
Good to see you.
Like the first time.
Twitch.
Video.
I know.
On Twitch.
Adam's camera. Adam is at the in-laws. Adam is at the in-laws tonight. And one thing I have discovered over the years is that the in-laws never have good Wi-Fi ever.
Right.
And so apparently we are not able to get image, just audio from our good friend.
Adam, can you handle that for us, please?
Next Sunday I'm back at home.
Okay. Well, no. We're saying you don't have to trade in the in-laws, but do something.
Oh, that? No.
There's some passive aggressive thing going on here regarding in-laws. I'm trying to pick up on because Jim just represented all in-laws and their Wi-Fi.
Right.
Somehow that leaped.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's fair though.
And we also
that's my experience. It's my experience.
We would be remiss to let you know that we're now on Twitch this evening as promised. Now our master technology and guru guy who takes care of all this is of course Clay Toomey from Dallas, Texas. Hello, Clay.
How's it going?
So thanks for doing this for us tonight. I mean, what do we owe you?
You don't want to know.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, just a high five, man, and a hug and some good times and
Dude,
all good.
I got you.
He says all that, but he's a rehabbed, prison inmate. So you're gonna owe him a token, and that token is like a life debt, baby. It's like a soul thing, dude. So
Is it a Wookiee?
Card of cigarettes?
Later.
I don't know.
You'll know what you owe him, Tom. You'll know.
All right. It's cool. Cool. No, it's this is really a recap of what happened in Texas State, and I think that you guys all seem like you had a pretty good time. Before we get into that top five, of course, you guys will be talking about the takeaways. Anything you want to mention outside the top five that you want to make note of, Jim?
I can't think of anything. Everything is in the top five. I'm pretty sure.
Adam?
No.
Ditto.
Mark?
I'm gonna wait till they're done with their top five and then just chime in with anything. I mean,
cool.
These guys are great with their top fives. I like listening to it. So
I love
it'll be
it.
Great to yeah.
Well, I think that without delay, we need to get into the most important, most popular feature of FoosTalk Live.
What Jim and I like to do right about this time is to reveal our favorite IPA.
Jim, and did you bring back something from Texas this time by any chance?
I did not. We did enjoy a couple down in Texas, but I did not bring any back. You really can't take them on the plane. But I am getting emails as we speak talking about how folks want this segment to be even longer than usual tonight. So
cool.
They love this segment. It is the number one segment, as you said,
on
FoosTalk Live tonight. Tom, I'm kind of going to be in your neck of the woods. From Lawson's Finest Liquids in Stratford, Connecticut. I've got a Sip of Sunshine.
Look at that.
It is a double IPA. It's over 8% alcohol. It's packed with juicy tropical fruit character, bright floral aromas, and delectable layers of hop flavor.
Delectable.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Yes, let's sample. Ooh, in the snifter.
Ooh, in the snifter.
Yummy.
Ooh, that butt smoking. Ooh, that butt smoking in the snifter.
No.
Okay, Adam.
Adam's the butt smoker. It's delicious.
Hey.
It really is good. How about you? What are you having, Adam or Tom or whoever wants to go next?
Well, I'll go because I'm going to be really quick. As you all know, I've been at the in-laws.
That's what she said.
Celebrating my. You're in rare form, or this is normally how you are, Mark. I'm at the in-laws celebrating my wife's birthday, and so I've been here since noon. So I'm well beyond beer at this point. I'm just having a vodka tonic.
Vodka tonic?
That's where I'm at.
Wow.
It's the in-laws, Tom. It's the in-laws.
Oh my God.
Since noon.
Adam, we're going to make you sit with Mark tonight. Is that okay?
Yeah. wherever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Vodka. All right. Well, I guess that leaves me. When it comes to IPAs, of course, I have a great source locally, Old Saratoga Mercantile, just a few minutes from my house. And I've been, searching their coolers high and low. They always have a really great selection. Tonight, it's going to be Sight and Sound. Looks a little like a I don't know, Freddy Krueger on the front label here. But Sight
I
and
was thinking
Sound.
Adam, but Freddy Krueger works.
Yeah, there you go. It looks a little, pardon me, spaced out. Anyway, Sight and Sound comes to us from Foam Brewers in Middletown, New York. 8.5% alcohol by volume. And yes, it's, let's take it out. I've never had this before. Okay. There we go. Down the glass. And yes, it has a hazy appearance for sure. Let's take a sip. Look at that head.
Look at that head, baby.
Look at the glass. The glass is hazy. Of course, the beer is hazy.
Is
Look
that
at
from
that.
the 1967 or
Technicolor.
cabinet you have?
Has that glass ever come out of that room?
No,
I
never.
want that glass to hold up a newspaper right now, today's date.
Let me
It
see
does
it.
look
Check
to have
the check the
nicotine
bum.
stains on the outside of it for sure. So I think late 60s, early 70s.
Actually, that's a different kind of tobacco, but no. So there you have it. That is Sight and Sound. And we have to toast our honor group of the day. Honor group of the week, I should say. Here's to PDX Foosball of Oregon. They're hosting their home turf Monster DYP next weekend. And that's going to be taking place for 2 days at the Home Turf Bar and Grill there in Oregon. I believe it's pronounced Tigard, Oregon. And of course, we want to salute the guys, PDX, along with Bob Bennett, who's Bob Barnett, who's a big fan of FoosTalk Live, and that's our honor group of the week.
And I can only imagine that Mark is drinking LaCroix tonight, or as he says, LaCroix.
No. So we there's no LaCroix this week. There's seltzer. I guess we're trying to save money. I don't know if I'm on camera yet, but you guys are hilarious. This show's way better when I can watch you guys drink your little beers.
I'm getting messages that are very similar to that right now, Mark.
It's way better. This segment is just, it has a lot of entertainment value watching you guys drink that beer. Anyway, this is what I'm drinking. It's a seltzer. I guess we're saving money. It's not LaCroix, but it's the same kind of thing. It's water, you guys. So that's me. Thank you.
Excellent.
Chicago's finest, I take it.
You drinking great value LaCroix over there? Is that what that is?
Great value.
With my Hydrox cookies.
Hydrox.
Where are you, dude?
I haven't heard about Hydrox in years. That's really kind of like the ghetto version of the Oreo, correct?
I appreciate that, Tom. You're once again, you found a way to appropriate me on a live show.
Hey, Mark, where are you, dude? Is the Ukrainian President Zelensky somewhere near you? Are you in a bunker, dude?
Yeah. We should get him on the show. I hear he's hilarious.
Oh,
yeah,
he's a comedian.
He's a comedian.
He's a professional comedian, a stand-up man.
He was on a TV show about a guy, a comedian actor who became president of the country. How
Go
unreal
figure.
is that?
Go figure, right? Jeez.
Let's move on.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking all things Texas from last weekend. Of course, that's everybody was really focused on that. I really got to say, before we get into this top five or the top five, and of course the flashback, how much I enjoyed just watching the coverage, not only on Inside Foods but also Twitch TV, where we're tonight for the first time. But no, it was terrific coverage, guys. So hats off to you dudes.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Yeah, always a lot of fun, especially to work Texas State and to work with Mark and to work with Adam and everyone who joined us in the booth over the weekend. Tommy Yore did 3 or 4 matches, and he was great. His enthusiasm and knowledge of the sport are really second to none. So it was great fun to be there and at a live event and cover it live for InsideFoods.com. And of course, you can watch all the videos at InsideFoods.com.
There you go. Speaking of which, let's reminisce about the one of the greatest moments of last weekend.
With great moments in foosball history, this is a FoosTalk Live flashback.
And it's championship point. Great play by Hueltner and Spredeman. They are now just a goal away from a second consecutive Texas State Open Doubles Championship. And the pickup here by Viney. Steve has not missed yet in that forward position. Until now.
I don't think that was there.
On goal by Hueltner, and Tony scoops up the rebound with a chance to win the championship.
Dylan needs to be on the deep pool side here.
Tony Spredeman strokes it home back down the middle, and there it is. For a second consecutive year, Tony Spredeman and Erik Hueltner are the 2022 Texas State Open Doubles champions. Another great performance by that team. Valiant effort, though, from Dylan Marshall and Steve Viney. Outstanding second-place finish in a very tough field for, I think, the first-time pairing of Marshall and Viney.
That defense from Hueltner, that was the key there. I mean, Spredeman was being Spredeman, right? But Hueltner shut it down pretty quickly, and then Marshall never recovered switching to that pole, and they had to switch.
Listen in next time for another great moment in foosball history. It's FoosTalk Live. Yeah, as I was saying, what a great coverage, what a piece of history right there, and I really enjoyed watching that match from beginning to end. And Steve Viney, now I think the debate is he the oldest ever to make it to the Open Finals?
Well, I could say something like you'll have to wait till the top 5, but I do believe, as I was sitting there last weekend and watching Steve, he had just reached the finals, just won that losers bracket final. And I thought about it. I says, has there ever been anyone older? I thought about, obviously, Todd Lafredo comes to mind right off the bat. But it's been quite a while since Todd Lafredo has reached a major open final on the tour here in America.
Right.
And I don't think it's been in the last 6 years. And so for me, and in fact, Todd this year would be 62, which is Steve Viney's age. But Steve getting to the final at Texas State, I believe he's the oldest player to ever. Now it gives Todd something to beat.
Right. And it gives me hope for the future, possibly.
Yeah, there you go.
Then again. But no, the other thing that I wanted to mention, too, is the depth of the field. I mean, Ryan Moore was there with Evan, and they did a bang-up job as well.
They were practicing for that big match that's not going to happen now. I understand that Alan backed out.
Not going to happen?
Yeah, I heard it.
Way.
Not going to happen.
You know, I've seen. I thought it could. I thought it could happen, but it's clear. I've heard the last I heard from the horse's mouth, it got backed out. So, but Evan got it great. Evan's been raving about that experience. It was probably the best experience. And he wants more of that. So he's really, really loves the mentorship.
And he's 16, 17. I have a feeling he may see that again.
Yeah, and he actually got to play a little forward in the consolation match, the match for third place or better. Ryan played goalie, Evan played forward. I mean, Evan played really well in that match. So, because I was thinking, it'd be kind of neat. Ryan likes to play goalie, right? He loves to play goalie these days. Stick Evan up there. But as it went on, and you saw the level of competition, the experience involved with most of the competitors, Evan would have been in, I think, a little bit over his head if he had played forward at that, despite the greatness of Ryan Moore, who may be the best goalie in the world. But so I think it worked out well. They played well together. What a great experience for Evan.
Cool stuff. Well, without further ado, let's get your take on your takeaways from the Texas State Championship with our this week's version of the top 5. Time once again for the FoosTalk Live Top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number Adam?
Oh, we're going. Okay. All right. Here's my number 5. All right. So my number 5s I always reserve for if they're personal, because I don't like making things about me. This could be anywhere on this list, but I just put it at a 5. There was this moment on Monday night where everything ended early, and Jim and I had nothing to do. We were just sitting there staring at each other. We were thinking of maybe going and getting a $25 bottle of water and split it to save money, you know. So, and he says, "Hey, let's go check out the 4-on-4. They got to mix 4-on-4." And I was like, "Oh God, no, I don't play." And everything hurts, and I'm old, and my eyes are not what they used to be. And he goes, "Just go down there." So I go down there, and I see the expert doubles winners and the women's doubles winners, Noelia Arcos and Lexi Brake, are just standing there trying to get partners, and they're about to shut it down because they already had all the teams that they thought were going to sign up. I go back to Jim and I say, hey, there's just Noelle and Lexi, and you want to play with them? And he goes, are you kidding me?
I said, what are you, an idiot?
Get back there.
Sign him
I
up.
go back there. I go
Best
back
partner
down to
I've
the
ever
stage.
had.
Yeah, I go back down to the stage and I say, hey, I say this quietly. It's not like I'm trying to keep it a secret, but I just, and I say, hey Lexi, you guys want to do 4-on-4? And then over the shoulder, I hear Steve Murray booming, yeah, you guys are playing. I'm sponsoring you. And he's throwing 20s at Raddick or whoever. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Cool.
There we go. Right. So next thing I know, we're into it. And when we play our first match, and I know that I remember one of the guys, I don't know who, but I can tell you this. My role in that position was to talk smack. And that was my brief, and I did it. And Noelia was the stud of all studs. Lexi was solid, and Jim was clutch. I was just happy to be there. And so we won, and we beat some pretty good teams. And we cheated and lied, and that's how 4-on-4 works. So I couldn't be more proud. I don't even know what to say. That was just the most fun I've had at a foosball tournament. Really, in the last year. That was just
break it down for us. Who played what rod? So 3 rod. Who played that?
You rotate, Tom.
Oh, you rotate.
Yeah, rotate.
Okay, so you're always doing.
I started on 5. Jim, you started on the goalie 3, right?
I did. I went ahead and I was the last line of defense to open things up, and then of course you rotate as we go along. And as you said, Noelia was fantastic. Lexi as well. You talked a good game, and I once again proved that I knew how to play foosball a little bit. And it was a lot of fun. We beat Brandon Munoz, we beat Kevin Romero, we beat Tony Spredeman.
Whoa!
And it was a lot of fun. And yes, we did pull a point one game, and I was the one who did it.
Yeah,
nice.
And it was like the first or second point of the game, right? And I just kind of distracted, and Adam was doing his thing, and I pulled the point over, and they never noticed until the very end, and when Tony looked across and said, "Wait a minute." But several balls had already gone by, so it's legal to do. We did end up getting an official for a couple of our matches.
Yeah,
but what a blast! It was a lot of fun.
Hilarious,
dude. Yeah, we lied. No,
I love it.
Anytime anybody tried to talk smack to us, I would just flood the zone with crap. So that it was so confusing. There was no way anybody could, because that was on purpose.
And the official we got, and the official we got, we don't mess around. We get the best official in the world. We got Tom Yore standing there at the end of the table. Yeah, and nice. I don't think Tom probably had 15 beers.
15.
But Tom
was a prime number.
It was a little high prime number.
Yeah.
And but we get only the best. That is not it's not even on my top 5, because I knew Adam would bring it up and I'd get to expand on it. But for me, my number 5, and we touched on it earlier, was Dylan Marshall and Steve Viney. All right, Dylan Marshall, right, comes out of the Tampa, Florida area, all these great stars. In just about every region of the country, he'd probably be the number 1 player in that region. In the Tampa area, he's probably 5 or 6, and that's just how strong that area is. But he, on a regular basis, as great as he is physically, he'll beat up on 95% of the players out there. But when it comes to that top percent, he has some difficulty beating them. So finally, for the first time at a major championship, Dylan beat people. Dylan was playing his thing. It helps to have Steve Viney, the veteran back there, the Hall of Famer, who can come up and hit 2 pull shots a game if necessary. But to see Dylan do it, to kind of break through, really, for the first time ever, and finish second again in a very tough field was great to watch. And of course, Steve Viney, you talked about it, 62 years old, in the finals, and looked like of Steve Viney of 20 years ago. Great pull shot, good defender, great teammate. Steve Viney, when you think about the partners that he has had, right? This is a guy who spent many years playing with Johnny Horton, right? The cop and the criminal, almost, right, if you will. But so he knows how to have Don. So he played with Don Swan, another quirky forward partner, individual, whatever. And so in this case, of course, Dylan, very quiet, it just plays ball. And Steve didn't have to do any of that, but he did all the other things. And it was a great pairing. And to see this kind of combination of youth and experience come through and finish second was really marvelous to see. So at number 5 for me, I've got Steve Viney and Dylan Marshall.
Hey, I got to chime in because Viney just sent me
top 5. We'll do that again.
That was fun. I just want to say real quick, Viney sent me a text right now. He might have been listening, or he might be listening later. He just said incredible accolades to you, Jim, Adam, Tom, Clay. You guys continue to improve your product. Ashley's rock solid. Adam's commentary is excellent. He's an asset to the team. Please relay my regards to the team on another outstanding job. Thank you for what you do. That was from Biney right now while you guys were talking about him.
Wow.
I thought it was relevant to speak.
Well, we'll just have to have him back on the show. That's all.
Big time class act for sure.
Yeah, he's welcome back. In fact, and maybe next week or the week after we get Steve to step up.
Be great.
Yeah,
the man can tell a story as well, can't he?
Oh, indeed. Well, shall we continue?
Well, no, one second. Not to be denied. Not to be denied. Not to be denied. Steve Murray heard me say that, and he said, I second that. So Steve wants to make sure he trumps Steve Biney by saying, look, me too. I love you guys.
Competitors, man. They're competitors, right?
Okay.
Well, now I need to. I'm going to ask permission this time. Mark, is it okay if we do this?
Just count to 5 before like Horton chimes in.
5,
All right,
4, 3, 2, 1. Foos Talk Live Top 5. Number
4. This is something we've been talking about so much that I wouldn't have it much higher because I don't want it to outshine the players and the people. But this was format. It started in Thunderdome. It's been around for some time, obviously, but it started in Thunderdome. That was the first big one that was outside of the Warrior tournaments that got a lot of coverage, from us, obviously. And Mark, you were doing that with Dana Brewer, of course, from down there. And it's been
Dana. Hardest working woman in foosball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she is. She knows it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was a tectonic shift at Thunderdome, and it wasn't because of what we said. I mean, we were saying stuff and we were enjoying it, but it wasn't because of that. It was because of the 64 players there that enjoyed it and loved it, and the people that listened, that care about the people that come to their tournaments, listened, and obviously they weren't going to Texas State. They weren't going to just change the whole thing on a dime, but you have to like roll these things out in this way. And I think it was a resounding success. There was obviously some issues, and we're going to hear about them, I think. But for the most part, every single person I talked to played a lot of foosball with no conflicts, and there was no out and two. And I mean, that's just like everybody's dream. And the expectation for me is you get people playing more at tournaments, you get better players, you get a better player base, you get people that are more actively engaged. It's good for everybody. So for me, number 4, Swiss format, Texas State.
My number 4 is the aforementioned Noelia Arcos and Alexi Brake, who not only win women's doubles again in a very tough field that includes several world champions, including names like Sullivan Rue, Midori Kimura, and others. They come out on top. And, when we first saw Noelia, and I think the first time I saw her might have been at Colorado State. The first time I really noticed her might have been at Colorado State last year. And Adam and I talked about it. And I think Mark and I as well, about this is an exciting young player who is very focused, right? She is very, very focused, wants to be great, from Peru down to South America. And she was the forward. Lexi Brake, formerly Gabriel, was the goalie. But not only did they win women's doubles, a very tough field, but they also won expert doubles in an area, in a part of the country that's got quite a few very good, very talented experts. But something about, I'm not going to generalize by saying it's a women's team thing or a women player thing, but these are very consistent players. These are maybe weren't the most talented players in the expert event, but they were the most consistent, and they actually won it in pretty strong fashion, and were really not even tested that much. And so, and then of course, both of them tripled last weekend. They won women's doubles, and then of course, they won expert doubles. And then they also won the 4-on-4 event with a couple of radio announcers. But it was a great weekend for both of them. Noelia, I think, we're looking at a woman who is going to be and is almost one of the best players in the world, certainly on the American tour. This is a great young player who works hard on her game, is very focused, treats it as a sport, takes it seriously, has some fun doing it, and is extremely impressive, not only as a player, but as a person as well. So look out for Noelia from Peru. And it's nice to see Lexi playing and doing her thing as well. And really, and Lexi allowing Noelia to do. Lexi is her sponsor. And really, Lexi is encouraging and supporting everything that Noelia is doing as far as becoming a world-class foosball player. So number 4 for me, the ladies who had a great weekend, Noelia and Lexi.
Hey, Mark, Tom, can I chime in? I want to chime in for 1 second on both points. First of all, I'll say this quick word about the Swiss as it worked out. I was sitting, I called the first round of the Swiss event, and it was Tony and Erik Hueltner on table number 1 playing against some beginners, and it was Kevin and Brandon on table number 2 playing against some beginners. And when those matches ended, the rookies and the beginners took pictures with those guys, because they had their match, their pit table 1 match that they lived to play against the best players in the world. They took pictures, they were smiling, they were happy, and then they got to go play 4 more matches. So for me, that's an incredible win right there. That beginners, rookies got to do what they wanted to do, all the thrill and excitement, and know that they still had more foosball left. That's a massive win for me. And for me, that's enough to kind of validate this. We'll hear more about it later. There are going to be grievances with it, but people are going to have to find a way to evolve this and get used to it because it's the future. I want to say one quick thing about Noelia. I called that match with Liz Hill, and there's 2 things incredibly impressive. First, we can't leave out Lexi Brake, because if you watch that match, Lexi Brake blocked and scored like an animal to win that women's doubles final. But I'll say one more thing. Well, the most impressive thing about Noelia in that match is she could not go push side. And at some point it was picked up on. She was getting brick going push. She had to figure out how to go push side. She cheated, and she got in tune with it. That is the hallmark of a forthcoming great champion. Someone who figures it out in the moment, makes the adjustment, and finds out a way to win. Look out for Noelia. She puts everybody on notice. You better pick up your game, because this is a focused woman, and she's going to take you out. She will be the number 1 player in the world if people don't stand up and start working on their games. That's all I got to say about Noelia.
Ooh, now there's an endorsement right there.
Agree with all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 3.
Before I do the third one here, I just want to say hi again to everybody out there on Twitch. Thanks for following us. Say hi, shout out, do whatever you want in there. Also, I want to know, ongoing ostrich, explain to us what your name means. Now, my number 3. This is something that was unique and fortunate for me, and I don't think a lot of people are going to get to experience this. But there was a point where Jim and I were hanging out. I forgot what we went to go do. I think we are just kind of hanging out, and I think we went to my room for whatever reason. And we're out there at the Marriott?
Yes.
The Marriott, and we're standing there, Dallas Fort Worth, the airport area, and Jim's just staring out the window, and I go stand next to him, and he's just pointing to this hotel over here and what tournaments were held there, and then that tournament over there, or that hotel over there, and all the tournaments that were held there, and this and that. And it was awe-inspiring to me to see how much history there is of foosball between the Worlds and between Texas State championships. How much history there is in a 3 square mile area. That was my big takeaway. My number 3 takeaway was just the history of foosball in that small area.
Adam's room was east facing, and you could see a little bit to the south. So to the south of us, about 1.5 miles away, was the Hyatt Regency in DFW, where so many, I think 10 Tornado World Championships were held. In fact, one year there were literally 200 tables set up in a ballroom there, huge ballroom, gigantic ballroom, as you remember too, Mark. Looking straight out the window, I could point out where the last 15 Texas State Championships were held in actually 4 different hotels, literally 1 mile away. And then if you looked way off in the distance at the skyline of Dallas, you could see the Reunion Tower. And at the base of that Reunion Tower was where the 1985 and 1986 World Championships were held. The first World Championship I ever went to as a player, 1985, was right there. So literally, as Adam said, and for me, as I looked out there, it just brought back such memories. And it is incredible. That little area, that Metroplex area, it just has hosted so much foosball history. So that's a good one, Adam. My number 3, for me, it's the continued growth, the continued improvement, the continued entertainment value of Brandon Munoz. For me, whenever I hear there's a Brandon Munoz match on table number 1 that I get to commentate, I get really excited. He, to me, is the most exciting player in foosball, especially in singles, but also in doubles. I mean, this is such a magnetic, charismatic player whose game is unlike any we've ever seen, right? The things he can do at high speed, the decisions he makes, and yet he still also now is learning to get that ball in the 3, take his time, be smart about it, use his timeouts, etc. So this mix of this freestyle, Tasmanian devil, if you will, mixed with a classic kind of foosball approach, a high percentage smart approach, is producing right now the second best singles player on the American tour, and a guy that continues to improve, continues to impress, and continues to entertain. For me, I can't help but feel excited. We talked about Noelia. I think about Brandon Munoz in the same way. I think this is a guy who seems to be very focused, does it in a different way, but also does it the right way. So for me, Brandon Munoz is number 3.
Mark?
No, I don't. Just on Brandon and get on to the next number. Brandon, I love what I love about Brandon and Noelia, by the way. I know they're not from the same country, but there's a fire, and Kevin is probably the most reserved of the three, by the way. But these guys attack. This guy and gal, they attack when the pressure's on. They are aggressive and they don't back down, and they grin and bear it and just fight, man. And you got to love that, because we see so much people buckling under pressure. We see people falter. We see people, their 5 bars go soft, and these guys just say, you know what, we're going to go after it. And I love that style of play, and it's a great thing to see in foosball.
Well, one last point on this. Brandon Munoz, Kevin Romero, both out of Costa Rica, kind of the young guns from there. But I'm going to say it here, and I don't mean any insult to anyone. But right now, Brandon Munoz is leaving Kevin Romero in the dust. He is moving forward. Kevin maybe has plateaued a little bit. Great kid, great player. But for me, Brandon Munoz is the better player now.
FoosTalk Live Top 5. Number 2.
So Jim touched upon this already with Noelia and Lexi. So I'm going to take it a different way, I guess, because I was going to be talking about them for my number 2 and what they did, expert doubles and women's doubles, and of course 4-4.
The biggest event of the weekend. Yeah,
the biggest event of the weekend, 4-4. But there's something else that I don't know, and this is just something I'm throwing out there because I want to start thinking about this more, just talking about it or something. Because I've been playing for a long time, and I'm now into foosball on this end, right? The reporting aspect of it. So maybe I'm just paying more attention to the results of things. But I feel like in this past year, I've been seeing lady players winning pro events and expert events in big tournaments way more than I did when I used to play. Is that true, Jim? Do you see that?
Absolutely. I think the numbers will support that, and Clay can pull those if we need him to. I do have a memory at one point of Stacy Fowler and Shelley Langley winning a pro doubles event, but that was an anomaly. Over the last year or two, it has happened frequently, if not almost every event. Obviously, Sullivan Rue and what she's doing,
Right.
But yeah, I think so, Adam. Absolutely.
And I think it because this is something that we talked about over the weekend. Jim was like, "Why is this happening?" And I got a lot of messages from people that talked to me, giving their opinion. And I don't know. I think it's something that's worth talking about because I love to see it, And I think that it's just being in education for as long as I have, there was a tonal shift back in the late 90s, early 2000s, where you started getting, young girls into these programs like STEM and now STEAM, where they're working and doing these things where it wasn't normally like their, what's the word, like with the expectation, I guess that's what it is. The expectations and the expectation of ceiling changed. And I think we're seeing that here. There's probably other reasons too. And I don't know how much that matters so much, except for the fact that we all benefit from it, because there's some good matches watching it. So for me, my number 2 takeaway, and I've been seeing it for the past year, is the ascendance of lady players in events that they don't normally, or we would traditionally expect them to be winning.
No, I think it's great, and I think it's happening throughout lots of sports, worldwide. Obviously, I think the world record in the marathon, for example, at one point, the men's and women's records were something like 35 or 40 minutes apart. That has come down significantly, and so it isn't something necessarily that's happening here, and it's an interesting topic of conversation. We could do a whole show on it, I think.
Well, the big difference, Jim, is none of these women have penises. I just wanted to put that out there. All these women are.
Great observation.
Kidding.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Mark.
Clay,
Thanks
can you cut that out? Clay, can you cut that? Clay,
cut that out, please.
Too late
10
now.
seconds.
No, this is live, buddy. There is no edit button.
Wait, I want to hear what Jim was on a roll. Jim was on a roll, though. He's making cogent thoughts, Mark.
Yeah.
Cogent.
But I think
when we can have sexist and ridiculous, and he's not even a redneck, man, and he's talking like that. Good Lord. As you were, Jim.
You absolutely made a statement about yourself with that comment. No
I
question.
know. Hey. I'm a comedian. I'm a professional comedian. What am I supposed
Yes,
to do?
you are.
Hey, I'm a comedian.
Yeah. But no, I think it's interesting to see this shift, as you put it, the change in the ceiling, as you almost eloquently put it. But it is really, and there's several of these ladies that are making their marks. The 2 last week, of course, Sully, Midori, and others. Again, Stacy Fowler, Shelley Langley, kind of the pioneers there. Gina Murray has won some. We can go back, obviously, to Moya Thielens and Cindy Head and players like that. But it's happening more now, I think, than it ever has. And that's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right, my number 2. During the course of a foosball season, there are 5 major championships. All right. There's the Hall of Fame Classic in Las Vegas. There's the Texas State Championships. There's the Nationals. There's the Tornado Worlds, Tornado Championships, and there's the Colorado State Championships. All right. And the way we base calling them majors is on turnout, on history, on level of competition, et cetera. I think we all pretty much agree on this, right? There have been 2 major championships so far this year: Vegas Hall of Fame Classic back in April, and the Texas State Championships of last week. Tony Spredeman has tripled at both of them. No one has ever, I don't think anyone's ever tripled in back-to-back major championships. I poured over the numbers, and I don't think it's ever happened before. And this is the first time. And then you start to think, could Tony do one of the things he's never done before, right? Triple at every major in a season. I mean, that would be just remarkable. But I think there's a tendency for all of us to take this guy for granted. Okay. And I think we need to appreciate what we have in front of us. All right. This is an incredibly, it's same with Fred when he was around, even and Billy in those windows, and Ryan with what he's done. But Tony's been doing it now for 20 years. Yes, I know that's incredible to think back when Tony won the Tornado Championships at the age of 17, not quite 18, back in 2003. And here he is 20 years later, and consistently, year after year after year, this guy does it at the very highest level. And when you judge players, what do you judge them on primarily? You judge them on wins, right? What can they win? Sure, high finishes, all of that, you're going to judge them. But if they're winning, that takes them to a whole other, stratosphere. And Tony Spredeman has been winning forever. And now here in 2022, 2 majors, 6 wins in the 6 major competitions: open singles, open doubles, open mixed. And I know he knows it. We talked about it. Now he may not remember because it was during 4-on-4, but he knows. And this is a guy who is motivated by these kinds of challenges, right? And to do that, it's almost like it just flies under the radar, right? It's like he's tripled at 2 straight major championship events, right? Nobody's ever done that. Terry Moore never did it. Frederick Collignon never did it. Although Fred never played 2 consecutive major championships. Only once did he ever do it. And so it's a remarkable performance by a guy that we had at number 3 on our top 50 list, and a guy that by the end of his career very well could be at number 2 moving forward. And so I just want to make sure we all recognize what greatness we are experiencing in Tony Spredeman at my number 2.
Mark?
I think there's an outside possibility. Jim, you probably have more of the archive of the history. I remember Todd used to triple all the time in the 90s, but it'd be a question if he tripled back to back.
No, I already looked it up. He never did. Terry was closer to doing it than Todd was.
Okay. And then finally, I'll just say that I've been thinking it over, and as I've thought it over, we have seen Sully win expert singles, and we have seen Midori win expert singles at major events. And I can't think of another time either. I've been really trying to dig deep and think about it. And maybe all the youth and all the talent and all the focus and competitive spirit right now is with our young women. I'm trying to think of the influx of young men. And I think Ethan Nguyen and Evan McGregor and Miles McGregor and those guys got to catch up a little bit. But maybe the women are bringing it right now. And we don't have the men mature enough for their game season enough to match them. And if this is a trend, and we've talked about this before, I think Sully's trajectory is to win an open major in doubles. It can happen. So as a forward. So anyway, I think it's going to be I think the future is bright as long as
quick.
Women start keep playing.
One more. No, you go. Yeah. But you mentioned the future of these young players, but let's not also forget last year, the Bardo Hearn celebration, Adrian Lee and Christina Fuchs also won expert doubles there.
Yeah.
So it's not just these young stars. It's a couple of veterans
as
well. So it's happening. It's cool. And I hope it keeps happening.
Lots to talk about. Are we ready for the number 1?
Yes, sir.
All right.
FoosTalk Live proudly presents the top 5. Number 1.
So something clicked for me this weekend at Texas State. I was sitting there, it's probably 3 a.m. on I don't know, Monday morning, Sunday morning, whoever, whatever. And I'm just looking through my camera roll, my phone, and I see just pictures of my son. And I'm just thinking, oh yeah, I miss him. I miss my wife, time with my wife. And then I started asking myself, why am I at this? Why am I here this weekend? Why have I been at these tournaments for the last? That was my ninth tournament with Inside Foos that I've been to in under a year, which
Wow.
is 3 times more than I ever did
Mhm.
majors or anything large when I was touring all the time, right? I'm sitting there thinking about it, right? And I start thinking about the Texas State Championships itself, you know. And I'm thinking, I've got all these words I'm writing down because I knew we were going to be doing this. And I'm like, okay, Texas State Championships, it's epic, it's iconic, it's legendary, it's this, it's that. And we all know that. But something struck me in that moment, what Texas State Championships really actually is. Texas State Championships is family. It is family, and I could feel it when I was there. It may be dysfunctional at times, it may argue with each other, it may have differences of opinions, but I have never felt such a familial atmosphere as I did at Texas State. And I can tell you, sitting in my room at 3 in the morning, long nights, long days in the booth, time away from my family, it makes sense that I can feel comfortable going to a thing like this, knowing that while it's not my family, my specific immediate family, it's still another type of family. And it's not something that I had ever expected to feel from a foosball tournament. And yet there it was, clear as day. And all credit to all the people there that work hard for that. Steve Murray on down. Attitude reflects leadership. And you get something like Texas State, which is iconic and epic because it is family. That to me is something that I will always, I mean, it's why I'm into foosball again. It's why I go to these things. It's for those moments, it's for that feeling. For me, number one, Texas State Championships is family.
Yeah, and you said it. I think the key thing you said there that struck me was it all starts at the top, doesn't it? And it's all the tendrils of this lead to Steve Murray. He's the guy directing it. He's up on the stage, barking orders. He's up there making sure everything goes smoothly, making sure everybody's taken care of. Making sure that everybody has cheap beer instead of what they were charging at the hotel bar.
Yeah.
All of these things, and it leads to great. It's to great leadership, and that's what it comes down to. And that family thing, it isn't stronger anywhere than it is at Texas State. But for me, we've talked about some things tonight. We've talked about the ladies. We've talked about what Tony's doing. We're talking about how Brandon Munoz continues to move forward. But the biggest tectonic shift that took place at the Texas State Championships was the Swiss system. This is the one that is shifting the world of foosball the most significantly. We have talked about it here. Obviously, I've seen it in Europe. We have experienced it on the Warrior Tour, but this is the first time at a major championship with this size of a field that we had experienced this very different format. Okay. Players have been so used to the double elimination format going all the way back to the TS Tour of the 70s. It's what they're accustomed to, it's what they're comfortable with. They're afraid of change, or at least it is perceived that they are afraid of change, which is why promoters have not jumped on the Swiss system earlier here in this country. But Steve Murray, again, willing to take the chance, willing to do what he can to push the sport forward. The Swiss system in open doubles, it was apparent while it was going on. It was apparent after the fact that it was a huge success. Again, obviously, it was not 100%. Ideally, there's going to be little things that you work on and improve for the next time. But literally, and I talked to a lot of people, we interviewed people about it, and everyone, almost to a person, said, it's great. We get to keep playing. And no one said, I didn't go out in two, because no one ever thinks they're going to go out in two, right? But nobody goes out in two. A minimum of 10 games, a minimum of 5 matches, probably more, against great competition, signing autographs or getting your autograph signed by the team you play on table one, all of that. But finally, the proof is in the pudding. This was the great experiment. This was it. This was where we now can say, let's move forward with this. And we had 300 plus players playing in this format, or at least experiencing it at Texas, who will now move forward, most of them 90% plus, with a positive evaluation of it, right? If someone now says, I don't know if I want to play the Swiss, we have 300 salesmen out there now across the country, not to mention what we showcased at InsideFoods.com and at Twitch. And of course, add that to what we've been saying here on this radio show for years, and what I have been saying on the air for many years based on my experience. But now here it is. This is the shift. This is where things change moving forward. Is it going to be rapid? It remains to be seen. Some people will not embrace it. Many will. But it's now in effect. It's now moving forward. Everyone has to take a hard look at it. And the pluses far outweigh the minuses. The pluses over the existing system far outweigh the pluses of that system. So my number one, the biggest shift, the most important thing that happened at Texas State, among many important things, was the Swiss system.
Cool. Mark?
Yeah, no, I'll just to just to jump on and quickly. The people that were, I think that people that had a negative experience will be in the minority. So there'll be a vast majority who had a positive experience, and anything that was done here can be adjusted and improved. But it is the future. And the one last thing I'll add is, I think we get this. I mean, we're around each other forever, right? I've been around Steve Murray in some capacity between 30 and 40 years, Jim even longer. And so we end up, it's strange phenomena to see each other in stages of our lives, like evolve from youth to adulthood to our elder statesman years. And Steve is his legacy matters to him. The things he does, how much he has left to give to foosball, how he delivers that, how he's going to be progressive and be a change agent while he still has time. All those things are important to Steve, and you see him doing like the little things, like Adam mentioned, family. We paid a lot for beer at that tournament, and guess what? Steve bought us cases and cases of beer on the last day. He bought us beer. You know why? Because it's as important or more important that people have a great experience, because he's not there to make a ton of money off us. He's there. He doesn't want to end up in the red. Nobody does, and he won't. But he's going to spend every last dollar he can to ensure people have that experience and walk away with it. So there's legacy here. There's what Steve wants to give back to foosball while he still has time. And that may sound morbid, but we all start reflecting on what do we have left. And Jim has to do it, and I have to do it. We all, and Adam is talking about, hey, why am I taking all this time away? We do it for these reasons. It's the emotional connection and how we want to view ourselves in retrospect and the experiences we have in the moment. That's what Texas State is. It embodies that. So I was proud to be there, and I'm excited to go next year if Steve will have me.
if he'll have you.
And that's a big if.
Right.
Zing.
He walked right into that.
Yeah, no, it's so true what Mark said. What very well said, Mark.
Yeah. Well, guys, there's it seems to be a sea change happening here in foosball. Of course, the format of the Swiss system coming into play now, and of course, there's also other things happening, as in software, as in modern foosball coming into the mix. Whereas we've had one kind of software in the past, now we've got at least two. And tonight we're very honored to bring on board the creator of this modern foosball, which we've been seeing a lot more of, and I believe Texas State was making use of this past weekend. We want to welcome, and I hope that I get this right, Dawid.
You're not gonna.
Dawid Kala. Dawid Kala, are you with us?
Dawid, yes. Hi, everybody.
Dawid. How you doing, Dawid?
I think Dawid. I think he intentionally does it.
I do.
I think he.
Because I know Mark.
By the way, Mark, you didn't say it right either. So hold on. Back
Tom, I'm blaming Tom. I'm blaming.
Wait, let him say it. What is it? How do you say it?
Dawid.
Dawid.
Jim was on point. Yes.
Hey, real quick, before we move on with Dawid, I wanted to say one more thing about Steve Murray. And Steve mentioned to me that at last week's ceremony that we have every year for the Texas Legend, he, being the busy man he is, being the nervous man he is about these ceremonies, but he wanted to honor and have a moment of silence for the great John O'Brien last week.
Right.
And so Steve asked me tonight to let everybody know that it just got overlooked because of so much everything going on. But I think here as well, we are huge John O'Brien fans and what he accomplished during his life.
Right.
And so I just want to make sure that everybody knows that he was absolutely in Steve's thoughts and that he just kind of forgot about it. So let's honor this man and continue to do so moving forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jim. So Dawid, you're in Seattle, Washington, correct?
I live in Bellevue, Washington State.
Oh, gotcha.
Close by Seattle, yes.
Gotcha. So I gotta ask the question: what is the genesis of modern foosball? Where did that come from, and how did you get into that?
Well, the genesis, I suppose it comes from me really wanting to build software for years now, and I'm also a foosball player. So
Right.
the software kind of comes from combining those two passions. And I also kind of treat it as a challenge for myself, whether I can build such complex systems too.
Mm-hmm. And you're a Microsoft engineer, I understand.
That's correct, yes.
So this is something that really is elemental for you. So what were the challenges to start with? Did you have to look at the other software first before you could construct what you've got now?
You have to know exactly what is it that exists. It will kind of let you know what is it that you can do. And at the beginning, the toughest part is to just get started and continue going because you've got nothing at all.
Right. Right. With no guarantee of return necessarily.
That's correct. You have to believe that, someday
Yeah.
it's going to work out.
And how long has it been in active use so far?
Active use, I believe the very early iterations of it, previous to what you can see right now, were used by the Portland crew from Moneyball 2 years ago. They were
Okay.
the first early adopters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I was there. I remember that when that was happening. One neat thing that I have seen with you, right, and the way the approach you have taken to this software is that it is an organism. It continues to grow. It continues to change and evolve based on circumstances. You did not build the Swiss system into it initially, but you did later, and you have tweaked it and improved it. And I think it's always going to be that way. There's never going to be a point where you say it's finished, right? Because it's just the environment continues to change. Talk a little bit about that and about your approach to the software in that way.
Oh, that's absolutely right. Especially since it's like a web service, so I'm always on call for it too. It has to continue working. They are live customers using it every day. It's an evolving organism, like Jim said, and I want to continue working on it. And moreover, I want to find a way for the software to grow on its own, so that I don't have to do everything like I have been so far. And the Swiss system, that's right, it hasn't been built in from the start. I only built in when there was a need for it, which I believe happened not long ago before Thunderdome. And now with US hopefully adopting the Swiss system, it's going to be used more and more, and it will get better and better as I see what needs to be added to it to improve.
I got a quick question, David. Who was the first? Who was out there who asked you to put Swiss in your software? Was there any particular person that was like, "Hey, dude, we really need Swiss in your software"?
Mark has been calling me for over a year with this now.
Oh, there's the truth. Thanks for telling us that.
Boom. I want to comment.
You were not the only one, though, Mark.
But I was the one who really put the needle in you. You said you wanted to grow and evolve on its own, and they made a movie about that. And it rises up and kills everybody. So I don't think we should do that. But what's next for Modern Foos? What's next for the software? Where do you really see it going next?
So something I've been working on since I'd say, well, over a year now, is being able to have the software support different sports and give players the ability to form organizations. Like, for example, when you've got, and we've been trying this on a little bit in Portland to form an organization where you have local tournaments and local point systems. Since currently it's just one big thing and it doesn't scale as much as I'd like it to.
I'm sorry, Mark. Did you have more?
No, please.
Oh,
go ahead.
Hey, it's Adam.
Hi.
Hey, I asked this of everybody that comes on here. Well, I've asked Mike Archer this, but what do you see as the greatest obstacle for the success of foosball, and what do you see as a solution to that?
The greatest obstacle, I think it might be the fact that it has slowed down when it comes to growth, and finding ways to include more and more young players into it. Especially, I love what USA foosball clubs are doing.
Right.
So I feel like that's the way to go. And like I said, the biggest obstacle, I think, is finding a way to grow the sport again.
To grow the sport again in a way that is what though? Like, because
because it's been grown before, but what has been like what's been hindering it every time it
I'm
does
not
grow?
I'm not 100% sure what exactly happened in the past that it's not as big as it used to be, but I'm aware that in the 70s, football was much, much bigger, and it can be just as big again. I'm sure it's. I don't have the answers though.
Okay. You know what? I want somebody else to ask the question, but I just love the fact that you said you don't have the answers.
Yeah.
God bless you for saying that you don't know.
None of us have ever done that. None of us have ever done that.
Now, how can he have all the answers
and
when Mark
Brian.
already does? Come on.
It's true.
David, let's talk a little bit about the future. Okay,
Mhm.
it's software. It controls the on-site tournament play, etc. But talk a little bit about your vision as far as it being able to maybe integrate local programs in order to maybe
Mhm.
work with the match alerts system, with all the other things that this software can do besides
Mhm.
just running a tournament. What other aspects of this software are there, or will there be?
I don't know exactly where this will take me. I kind of like to observe and adapt, especially listen to what players tell me, what is it they'd like. But the greater general vision, I think, is to try to take the software into more of a social media almost direction where people can really get on the platform, connect with their peers, especially in the local scene, connect with everybody else, and play football.
Love it.
Because it would also be kind of neat to maybe have player photos of the individuals,
Yes,
have
yes, yes, yes.
bios, have
Mhm.
statistics and career records, other things that you can kind of access through the software, right?
It's been on my list for so long now. And I will get there eventually. I'm thinking maybe late this year, but more likely early next year.
Cool.
I would like to hear a question from Clay on this. 'Cause
Yes, me
this is
too.
right up Clay's alley. Clay, what do you got?
I don't have a question. I actually just wanted to hear him talk about me, and I was going to wait till later, but we can do that now if you want. No,
Sorry, guys.
you caught me right in the middle of doing something. Actually, I'm doing some techie stuff here. And I've asked. We talked in Florida actually for a good hour and a half, something like that.
Wow.
So all my questions are in the can, as they say in Tom's business.
In-
So I don't know. And then also I really was actually right in the middle of doing something. So you caught me. So you caught me with my pants down, sort of, but not literally. Because I'm on. You
We're
can't-
on Twitch, for
camera.
God's sake.
You are on
We don't
camera.
I'm from the waist up. You know what I'm saying? Hey, so there you
All
go.
right, you can mute yourself again
Back
now.
to you. I can mute you too, by the way. I can mute everybody.
You can
Look
mute
out.
You do have control and power. Hey, I've got to jump here in a minute. I got family in town that I do have to jump off. But I just wanted to say, just keep up the great work. And I love observe and adapt. I love that it's an organism that is going to continue to grow and continue to change and evolve, which is I think what all of us need to do. And it's one of the lessons I think we've all, or many of us, have taken out of COVID. But just keep up the great work. Keep doing what you're doing, which is to continue to evolve. And thanks for joining us here tonight. I got to jump, guys, but well, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jim. I appreciate it.
Any
Hey.
closing questions, guys?
I do.
I got lots of questions.
Yeah, I'm the only one jumping.
Oh, I
Tom,
see. We can stick
questions
around.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jim, you're giving us permission to continue. I appreciate
I
that.
hope you do, and I'll check in tomorrow once the in-laws get Wi-Fi. I will check in tomorrow.
Jim,
with,
let's
the
make
rest of the
plans
show.
to.
Good night, guys. Good night, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
It's Jim.
Jim
So,
Stevens.
David,
So yeah, so go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, there's a lot more runway. There's a lot more you want to do. What holds you back? Another programmer of equivalent skill? Is it money? Is it just bandwidth and time? What do you need to push the envelope?
Well, I suppose it's a combination of all those things. Like that's
Yeah.
something I'm doing after my day job. And now, a year ago, recently, I've partnered with somebody I trust who's more skilled than I am, and this has been going much faster. That's not something that players have seen since last year, since the new release will be more of a change in UI, a major change. So I hope that once this is done, hopefully soon, you'll see more of this evolutionary improvement, like we talked about.
So what?
I got used to the UI. Frankly, I'll just Tom, I want you to go. Funny that engineers, my brother's an engineer. They're like, look, it works. It's amazing. It's fundamental. It may look like the UI. It looks like crap, right? It looks like a skeleton, but the whole thing is brilliant. And the engineer's like, I don't care what it looks like, dude. You don't know what the beauty is. Like, you can't see behind the curtain. And no, it'll be amazing once you get the UI things. Then the apes like me that can't see behind the curtain will just love it even more, right? Anyway,
Well,
go ahead.
I do. Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, David.
You
Go
want
ahead.
somebody to shine or wave something shiny in front of you. Me too. Sorry, David. Go ahead.
But I was just going to say that I do understand a need for great UI and UX. It's just sadly something that has to be postponed a little bit, but not it's not like a complete back burner for me. Hopefully, with the new release that I have coming, you will see great improvements in UI UX. Because it's players use it in the end, and if players can't use it, then there is no product.
Right. What is
I got a quick question for you. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Tom.
No, I was just going to
Take
say,
control, Tom.
what generation are we on currently with the modern foosball? What's out there right now?
I like to forget the previous ones.
Okay.
But I'm going to say 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay. Just to clarify. No, I know. As far as a spectator is concerned, I know last weekend when I was observing Texas State on Inside Foos and Twitch TV, I was using Modern Foosball as my guide as to who's going to play when, and it seemed to work pretty well on this end when it comes to finding out who's going to be in what table when, which I think that worked out pretty well. Compliments on that.
Thank you. And it especially works well when you've got a great crew running the tournament, when they will pre-select a match and tell the players and the upcoming schedule when is the next match coming on table number 1, so you can almost announce it on TV too.
Right. Is it easier with the Swiss or no?
With Swiss, you don't necessarily need that. With Swiss, when the matches are coming. You can just say you will have the next match on table number 1 on the hour. It's more difficult to say who will be in the match though, because that depends on everybody else's result.
Right.
Almost everybody else's result.
Right,
Like when the round is like 95% complete, you can tell what the pairings will be, at least some of them.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, very cool. Adam, I'm sorry, I stepped all over you.
Oh yeah, I'm hurt. No, I was actually just going to ask a question from FoosTalk Live superfan. Reese Roberts is out there. This is for you, David. Any plans to collaborate with the ITSF and their software development?
I haven't planned on this just yet. However, I definitely want to keep the door open. I would be very open to such a collaboration. But we don't have any plans just yet.
Can't wait
to
see it.
I'm completely, What would that even look like or entail? Just like I guess you don't even know yet, right?
I don't even know yet. However, the way I'd envision it, just off the top of my head, would be that since when you're ITSF, you don't want constant expense of developing the platform. You almost want to outsource it, and if I could just deliver a platform for them, and I focus on the platform and they focus on developing the organization, this might be the best way to do it, in my mind anyways.
Gotcha. Clay, somebody else?
Yeah, I'll hop in there. Hey, I'm actually curious because I know you're a team of you. And I think a lot of people probably think this is like a thing that many people are creating and developing and helping run and all that stuff. And so I know that that's really actually not the case. But do you have people like in the foosball world who are super tech savvy, who are like, hey man, I have experience with XYZ or whatever, and I would love to help or whatever. And A, is that welcomed? And B, like, is that something that like maybe it is welcome, but they're actually not reaching out to you? And if so, how would they go about that? Like, do you Do you care if other people hop on board with you? And it's a free thing. Like they're not
Yeah.
getting paid like a ton of money, but like people like, for example, with this, what we're doing right now, I enjoy this, and so I help when I can. And I guarantee, and if I knew anything about what you're doing, I would do the same with you. But surely somebody would love to reach out and help. How do they do that?
I like the question, especially since you're very much on point. I had tons of people, very skilled people, reaching out to me asking like, "How can I help?" And the problem that I have currently is that the platform in its current shape is just not ready to take on any external contribution. However, I'm trying to steer it to a point where it's stable and established enough where I can designate a piece of it for somebody to evolve. And as soon as I will be there, I will definitely reach back to all those people who reached out to get them included. And if you'd like to reach out to me whenever, I'm open on Facebook. Just send me a message.
Cool.
Yeah, I can vouch for that, by the way, because while they were doing their top 5, I was actually messaging him on Facebook. So hey, I can say I can confirm that he. What'd you say, Adam?
I was going to say I was messaging him too, but he kept sending me cat pics.
Yeah, well, you have to, so this is what most
That's my
people might
connection
not
with
know. The way that you get like interesting interaction from people is that you have to give them interesting interaction. So I'm very interesting, Adam. I don't know if you know that or not, but I'm quite fascinating, frankly. Let's just call it what it is.
Wow.
And so I don't get cat pics. I get other stuff.
Oh, wait, you were insulting me.
Yeah,
Oh.
of course, definitely. And by the way, just to be clear, I wasn't only insulting you. I was also insulting everybody who does the cat pick thing.
Wow.
So because I like
I'm
to,
glad I could be there.
Careful now.
I'm a multiple. I like to serve the community, and I also like to insult the community all at the same time. So back to you, Tom.
He's a purist. He plays a purist.
No, Mark, you can take that one.
Jeez.
What is that? Chaotic neutral, Mark? Okay.
Dude, don't try to involve me in your Dungeons
Oh,
and
you're a
Dragons
nerd.
thing, dude.
Yeah, I know there's a
Damn
cape
boy,
hiding
dude.
underneath your table.
Oh my
A cape and
gosh.
a staff.
Dungeons
One
and Dragons.
time the power went out at a foosball tournament, and Adam Gilson and like someone else started throwing 13-sided dice to figure out their match. And I'm like, no, okay, wizard power with your lightning spell. Holy smokes, crazy.
One of my favorite episodes of South Park is the what is it, Magic the Gathering episode of South Park, where they're everybody's playing this and they're doing it with chickens. The chickens are playing Magic the Gathering.
Doing it with chicken. Am I hearing you say doing it with chickens?
I think you mean
that is of all the phrases.
No, the chickens are playing Magic the Gathering.
Doing it, comma, with chickens.
Right. Doing it. Why do you need a comma there?
I'm just trying to help them save face.
You're trying to, I think the most surprising part of that is I think a lot of people realize that they did not previously know that Tom is a South Park fan. And I got to say, I didn't know that. And now I do.
Oh.
I've also heard Tom do a pretty killer Beavis and Butthead.
Tom's got all kinds of dark secrets, man.
Oh, I know him. Trust me. Hey, trust me. I have a pretty good grip on but even I didn't know that. So.
I have a very large closet. What can I tell you? And it's
can you just go ahead and do the rest of this show as Butthead or Beavis?
No.
Okay.
Not in this format. Not in this format. Some other place, some other time, perhaps. I'd need a couple more
David,
of these.
I'm sorry, Tom. Were you gonna? Did you want to?
No, just a couple more of those would help.
Exorcist beer is what's going on there. So where was I? Forgot my question, dude. Just threw me way away.
See, if you're drinking IPA, that would not happen.
Oh, here's my question. I don't believe, David, that you could. I believe you have to have a bigger, broader vision for sure. Because whatever you're collecting, I don't know what the hell it is. It's going to be pennies on the dollar for your time and energy and probably what you make. So you have to have a broader vision to monetize everything you're doing. And I don't know, and I respect it if you're going to be coy about it because you're not ready to share it. But I just if there's anything you can illuminate for us that you have whatever your vision, if you want to share what your vision is.
I can, yeah.
Go ahead, talk about it, please.
So let's maybe just I'll go back to what I talked to before about taking this software to multiple sports. In my mind, I think that I can make this all work if I provide enough scale if I have enough users using it, I think that if it hopefully someday grows to be big enough to, for example, host ATSF on it, host other sports, or globally, there will be enough people, there will be enough traffic to make it all worth it. Because like the end goal, the thing I want to steer it to is to make it the social media for sports.
So
Which like,
and it seems like these days the generation we're living in currently is all about building apps, creating an app that everybody wants, and of course the app takes you to the heights that you'd never expect, this kind of thing. So would this be one of those kinds of things where, okay, foosball players everywhere love this format, this software, and it becomes ubiquitous. Everybody's using it. What do you expect as far as competition? Do you think that there's room for competition?
Well, there's always room for competition, and competition is always welcome. I'm not sure what would be the alternative product at the moment. I know that even Facebook has been trying to do support sports a bit more, and they've got the whole social media already built. But I also don't kind of approach it as just let's build an app that everybody loves, and that's going to be that. This product has to be way more complex. It has to be cover much more ground to actually work. It only works when you've got the entire tournament system module, when you've got the players part of it, when players could hopefully soon interact with one another on the platform. That'd be where I'd like to take it.
Right. I love that. I love that element of it, which doesn't currently exist in any of the software that's out there. Being able to communicate from player to player or to group, this kind of thing. I can see league play certainly benefiting from something like that.
League play,
yes.
Got
it. No, go ahead. You got it.
I was just going to say that league play is definitely something that's on my mind, and I wouldn't be surprised if I managed to release some form of league play this year. But I'm not going to promise that though, because it's lower on my priority list. Yes.
Sounds like you have a lot of really great priorities here. I don't want to dive too deep into them because it kind of, I mean, I'm piecing together what you're saying in my head, but I just I want to see where you go. And I told you however I can help, whatever. But anyways, I got a question here from Foosman95. For you, do the number of matches from Texas doubles let you calculate if the team results were roughly true to their ITSF rankings?
Ooh.
Could you repeat that for me, please?
Do the number of matches from Texas doubles let you calculate if the team results were roughly true to their ITSF rankings?
I should be able to do that.
Wow.
I think there is enough data to look back. That's not something I have off the top of my head, but I think you can look back and come up with that, yes.
And one quick follow-up question, and then I'll let somebody else. This is from Mike. Oh, is that Mike? Anyways, does it collect enough data to eventually rank players?
The short answer is yes. You should be able to rank players based on individual matches. If you don't have that, if you have just results from an event, you can still do that too, with just smaller accuracy. I think I have all I need to be able to do that. Yes.
That's great. That's so cool. Mark?
I have questions, but they're offline questions about equity stakes and
equity stakes. Of course.
Equity stakes. I got that the last time I was at Lawson's Grill. Anyways, so we got another question. What ranking system would you recommend?
I would recommend multiple ranking systems. They are all built for different purposes. Like my favorite skill-based ranking system would be something based on Glico, if I'm pronouncing this right. But that's like a variation of ELO, because ELO is a bit old and it's got its flaws. And Glico is something that works just like ELO. However, it also has this capability of understanding how accurate of a calculation it has. So it can tell you like, hey, your score is this much, and this is my range of error when I was calculating your points or score. And this sort of a point system would be great when it comes to comparing skill levels between players, especially since a point system like that is built to be able to tell you what's the percentage of one player beating another player or a team beating another team. And that's very valuable information for multiple different reasons. Another type of a point system that I think is very valuable is a basic points race, especially when you're kind of trying to evaluate how hard has been a player attending tournaments, how hard they've been trying and winning over the past 2 years, for example, in a given category. Another very valuable point system will be something medal based, like you've got this many first places, this many second places, third places, and so on. And in combination, they can Clay. And in combination, those point systems can be actually quite useful, I think. I don't think you can, squeeze everything you need into a single point system.
It's awesome. I love that answer. I'm not going to tell you why. Just know we'll talk about it later.
Wow. Hey, did you ever watch that, what was the movie, Sneakers with Robert Redford?
Yes.
Redford?
Great movie.
Remember that, Too Many Secrets?
Yes.
I haven't seen it.
David, that movie, you love that movie.
Yeah,
no,
it's good. Well, I mean, it's dated, but it's good stuff.
So look, I'm not going to disparage or openly criticize. Well, I guess I am. I'm going to basically say that we do so many things in foosball that we've done for decades because we haven't had either change agents or people that really can bring a solution through or have the skill level or the networking ability or the resourcefulness or the relationships. And David, I think you're brilliant clearly at what you do, and people like you. And so you're able to do it. You're able to execute it. And the point system, software, all these things of someone being able to come in and create something new and have people use it and it works and it's different. That's the stuff that allows progress. It's change agents that allow for progress, disruptors that allow for progress. So
I really appreciate players and people using it, taking the bet on it. Like a year ago in Texas State, Steve did. It was major for a big tournament like Texas State. Take it on and run a whole weekend with it, which validated the software in eyes of all other promoters. We're more willing to take the bet, and that's what I appreciate all the promoters for.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I think you do good work. So as long as you're continue to be open minded and stay alive, dude, stay alive. Okay?
Oh, no question.
Because the whole thing goes to hell. The whole thing goes to hell.
Get him some ginkgo.
Have you considered
a random
crypto?
question? And this is not connected necessarily to anything that y'all been talking about, but I'm just curious for whatever reason. What is there a limit to how many people you could accommodate in the tournament? Like, like for example, Texas State's a few hundred. Like that's obviously super doable, easy. And then like Worlds is going to be a little bit more than that. But what if some crazy thing happened and we had like a tournament with like 5,000 people? Would that affect how Modern Foosball was able to run?
That's a great question, especially since when you are designing a system, kind of limitations of the tools you use are the number one thing you have to worry about, and you have to pick and choose your technologies based on your use cases, what you're expecting, and so on. And currently the software is capable of running brackets of any sizes. I'd be surprised if at any point it would fail to continue to run the tournament. The only risk I see happening is that when you've got not the number of players scaling out, but the number of events that are going on simultaneously, but you'd have to be in the hundreds. So I'm not worried about that either. Another kind of thing to worry about is the texting system, because I rely on Twilio, and they rely on the network systems. And I can only send out so many text messages a month until I have to switch over to what's called a short code number, which is really expensive. But if there was a tournament, like you say, Clay, that at some point 5,000 people show up, we'll just make the switch on the fly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I know you do extensive testing before. You don't just like show up and then like say, "Hey, let's see how it works at Texas State." Like you do a lot of testing before that.
Mhm.
And so I'll ask I guess the next question there is what's the biggest that you've tested with? What's the most amount of players that you've tested with on a test event?
I don't tend to over exaggerate what I'm expecting. I tend to somehow take a look at the past, scale it by 20% or so. So I'm going to say up to 500 players is the most I've tested, because there was never a need to go beyond that. If I, well, that's not right. 800, I'd say is more correct. Yes.
Awesome. Cool.
Some tournaments are very big. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
I got another question for you, man. You're clearly a diplomat, and you're an economist and an entrepreneur. There was a rumor. There was a rumor that that there was some possible deliberations of IFP using modern foosball software.
Ooh.
Are those were those rumors browsed, and would you still be open minded to it? Would you still be considerate of IFP buying, leasing, renting your software?
Well, I can't speak to any rumors. However, when it comes to open-mindedness, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, like we were saying before, there's room. It seems
there is room.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. Look, it's an incredible. You're an anomaly because you're super skilled. You create it. You're the architect. You manage it. It is incredibly expensive to create this and maintain it and support it. And it may be worth IFP. It may save them money to lease or use modern. It may be less expensive. I don't know, something to.
Well, like I mentioned when we chatted about ITSF, I believe that long term, instead of trying to pay for your own platform, it will be more beneficial to both financially and functionality-wise to outsource software to a platform.
Yeah,
That does make
So
sense.
yeah, I think so.
It's just
Yeah.
smart business. If there's a better, this is just like typical disruption 101. If there's a better mousetrap out there and it's less expensive to use, you either evolve or you use the mousetrap. You
Right.
evolve, create a new one. You go out of business. You you diversify. You create a new verticals, or you just rent the damn mousetrap and get over it. These are things that older systems within foosball may have to consider. So
Like
anyway.
that. Well, like everything else, I mean, nothing stays static forever. Even though it's been quite a long time, there's certainly, again, we're right in that crux, right in that moment in foosball now, where things are really starting to take off again, and innovation is really a big part of this. We're loving the fact that you're doing this. It's great to rattle the cage, so to speak.
Thank you.
Not at all.
I have a question. Because we've been just hitting the ground running with all this other stuff, but do you even play foosball?
I do.
No, but Tom didn't ask you the first time you saw a foosball table. He always asks that.
Oh, right. Well, it was it's something I probably would have done.
Yeah, put a quarter in the jar, Tom.
Sorry.
Let's see.
But I'll ask. When was the first time you saw a foosball table?
The first time I saw it, I think I was really young, to a point where I can't really remember my age. I remember being on holidays, on vacation with my parents, and my dad was like, "Hey, let's play some foosball," and we played a bit. And I saw my dad passing from one man to another, just very casually, and I'm like, "Okay, there's more to this game than meets the eye." And I, continued playing at work a lot, to get away from work.
Right.
And then when I moved to the States, I found the local scene eventually, and I got sucked into it.
Of course, Seattle, there's a scene.
That's a nice choice of words there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How it works too. That's
It's
exactly how it works.
An ocean of regret, like sucked in and an ocean of regret.
Gravitational, what is it called? The gravitational pull. It cannot be denied.
And technically, a second generation foosball player. Yeah. This is great.
Yeah. But wait, when I'm sorry, just a quick follow up. So how long have you been playing foosball?
Competitively, I'm gonna say 6-ish years.
Okay.
Cool.
Before that, it was just for fun.
Just for fun. Gotcha.
Does
Does
Microsoft
your
have
analytical mind go to the game of foosball the way it goes to like software design and stuff like that? Like how did you do you see where? Because actually, that's the way. Like all the stat stuff that I used to be really into was actually just the aftermath of me trying to learn foosball. So I wonder, someone like you who's clearly got a pretty, you're smarter than the average foosball player. Let's just call it what it is, y'all. Like this guy's not an idiot. How do you approach learning the game of foosball?
Neo, lines of code. Dude, do you see the
exactly.
lines of
Zeros
code?
and ones flying by. Yeah.
Well, sadly, I don't have a table at home at the moment, so the best I can do on tour is goalie. But I feel like most of my game is just attempting to adjust more than anything else. To observing and adjusting is all I'm trying to do.
Well, there you go.
Love it.
You beat me in the game though. Like this, he's. I was actually hoping he would bring that up.
I had a great forward with me. He has this one pass that's tricky at Dan.
Oh yeah, Dan.
Yeah.
By the way, that guy's game has improved so much in the last year.
He's got the surprising pass. It takes a while to kind of understand his pass, and he kind of is hoping to win 2 games before people, really pick up on it.
I'm down to rematch. I'm down to rematch. If I win, then Modern Foosball is free for Texas State next year. And if you win, we'll pay double. How about that?
Love that.
I'll do that. I'll do that right now.
Sounds like a fantastic match.
I'll come to Washington and bring the table.
Mark, you're about to ask a really good question.
I got one.
You got a good question. Go ahead.
I got one last question.
No, you got.
And then I got one last question. And I said I would do this. I got to simultaneously embed it. I got to get a shout out to South Florida Foosball Club. They're doing the Beachtown Beatdown July 15th to the 17th. They're using modern foosball software.
Cool.
That's their software of choice. They love it. Okay. For years now, I've been harping, and I love South Florida Foosball Club because they're incredibly progressive, right? We want to do Swiss. You guys are gonna launch Swiss. We want to do Thunderdome, which is old term. They do everything, right? So for 2 years, I've been talking about. Am I exaggerating? I think it's 2 years. I think it started the pandemic, 2020. I said, foosball is meant to be played like a bar sport. It's meant to be played like darts. It's meant to be engaging. It's meant to be like in your face. So I said, you guys want to really push the envelope. I need you guys to allow talking during play. I need you to talk to your opponent, talk to your partner. You got to be able to engage your opponent during play, just like on a basketball court, just like on a football field. You got to be able to. I need to know for you. And are you an expert? Are you a blossoming amateur? Where are you in your? And I don't think they're going to do it for the amateurs. By the way, I think they're going to let the beginners, rookies, and amateurs develop, and then you can't really get into it. I need to know how you feel about that rule, man. I need to know how you feel about that rule.
I'm definitely willing to give it a try.
That's good.
But I'm a rookie at best, so I wouldn't compete for the open double titles or anything like this, and I wouldn't know how much would it affect your game when you're really trying to go for it, whether talking, how affecting it is. For a rookie match, I'd be open to it.
Yeah, so I'll just say one, and I want to hear everybody's opinion. I want to hear Clay. I want to hear Adam. I want to hear the thing that people need to understand is it's organic and it's synthetic to the moment. If you're talking while your opponent's focused, your opponent has the advantage. If you're talking while your partner is focused, you're distracting your partner. If you're talking and no one is distracted but you're distracting yourself. So it's not like you're just distracted. Anyway, I've talked a lot. Go ahead, Clay. I see you got something to say, Clay. Let's hear it.
Well, first of all, I think people are about to find out how dumb the distraction rule really is, because and I'm not riding shotgun with you on this whole thing.
I don't care.
I'm just saying, we agree on a lot of this, because I think the distraction rules are just silly in foosball, and they don't decide whether or not they don't exist in other sports either.
Right.
By the way.
Not like this. Not like they do here.
Dude, go talk to anybody who played against Jordan, man. He would talk mad trash to you while he was playing. And
Larry Bird would tell you where he's going to shoot from.
Yeah.
While he has the ball in his hand. He'd say, I'm going to go left, one dribble, Go ahead, Clay.
Yeah. So what's going to happen, and I hope I get to go to the beach golf beat. I mean, the beat down to beat. What's it called?
Beach Town beat down.
Yeah, I almost called you what we call it in direct in private messages, and that would have been bad. Oh man, I had
a T-shirt made.
I had a panic moment there.
Yeah, right.
You're sweating. You're sweating.
Yeah, my heart goes out to you.
Thank you. The Beach Town beatdown. I'm trying my best to go, and what I think is going to be funny is watching people who are trying to talk, and they're going to be trying to do things, and they're going to put energy towards something they haven't really done.
Yeah,
and it's going to mess them up, and then you're going to see other players who are more seasoned and who've played a lot, and they're not necessarily going to be trying, but if you say something to them, they'll be able to reply, and it won't be like I can talk in my sleep when I play foosball. It's not a big deal. And so I actually I'm so in favor of this idea, and probably for some similar reasons, and then other reasons are just totally different. And I love it, and it's going to be some people are going to embarrass themselves, and I'm always a fan of watching that happen.
Can I,
then,
can I jump in here real quick with a quick observation from last weekend? Ryan Moore and Evan McGregor were playing Sammy DeJean from the 518 and his partner Mark. And during that match, I noticed how in between points, Ryan would talk directly to Sammy, busting his chops. Yeah. I mean, of course. I mean, this is what, of course, what Ryan does is what Ryan does. But maybe other players might have figured, well, he's really busting my chops here. Of course, Sammy took it well, and he knows Ryan really well. But it seems like, is that a psychological edge?
While wearing a Foos Gear shirt, by the way, because he's sponsored. But go ahead.
Right.
Yeah, no. I want to, David. I have another question for you, but I want to just touch upon what we're talking about. Clay, I hope you get there to the beach, the golf beat, whatever that is.
Careful.
Because you and I are playing an open doubles, and we're going to let it fly. Like,
yeah, 100%.
But that'll be good.
But number two,
gosh.
Number two, I grew up playing foosball against my parents. And we had a tournament soccer brown top table, and my dad, was tournament soccer. You all know this, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, as I was getting older and getting better at foosball, he would the amount of smack talk that I got from them was get better and better and louder and faster, and it only made me a better player up until one point when my dad legit challenged me to play him in a singles match, and right before he was shooting match point against me, he said, "By the way, you're adopted," and it did a double loopy dink on me while going and messing with my head, right? And I'm telling you, that kind of stuff, it might be the ASPCA, no. CPS, whoever takes care of kids, might come and try to take you out of your house for that kind of stuff. But I'm telling you, it only made me a better foosball player. So I'm a big fan of that, is my point. Anyways, David, my question for you is, I had some of the most fun I had this year has been hanging with people, you especially, Florida State, just chatting. What are your next tournaments? What tournaments are you actually going to be physically at this year?
Physically, I am planning on the Beach Town beatdown.
Cool.
Yes.
I want to go. I really want to go.
Bring it on, baby.
Nice.
Yes.
You need a roommate? I'm trying to find a room. I'm trying to find a bed.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I've got nothing planned yet, so I'm going to have to start looking at flights and whatnot.
Well, it's okay. You got that and anything else?
Listen, how much you guys? I could get. I could talk to. Listen, if you guys are serious, I could probably get a 4-bedroom thing going. I'll talk to Luke Watson about it.
There you go.
If you guys serious?
B&B.
Yeah,
it'd be fun.
Yeah,
we'll post show that conversation for sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah, cool.
Hey, David, we'll fix the software so any Swiss events we end up like with an extra point or something. We'll just do stuff. It'll be great.
Look out.
Any other tournaments besides that, or is that just too far in a way?
I always go to Colorado State. I feel like that's a given.
Good
but one. I want to go to Michigan State. We'll see how it goes because I've got lots of traveling this year already.
Right.
So I'm going to have to pick and choose very carefully, and that's the 3 of them that are on my mind at the moment. But if there is more, I'd likely go.
Colorado State, Michigan State. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Nice.
Cool.
Now PDX is doing a tournament next weekend. PDX is doing the Home Turf Monster DYP. Are you planning on being there?
Yes, I will drive to Portland
Nice.
next Saturday. Yes.
The week after that is the Bolero tournament that
We've got the Seattle Open, right?
yeah, the
Yep.
Seattle Open. Don Caesar and Kopi Cam are doing that. Of course, probably Danny Dunn. So a lot of foosball in that area.
Oh yeah, hot
I wish
spot.
there was more.
Do you do a regular
Wish we had
DYP?
more, but
Are you out every week on a DYP?
we've got close by Seattle, one of our locations reopened. We've got the Lucky 7 in Kirkland every
Nice.
Friday. We've got Scoreboard Tavern, is what it's called, a bit south, half an hour south. That's every Wednesday. But I think a bit bigger scene is in Portland. They've got like 20 plus players showing up, very high level of play, and that will be next week.
Cool. So, quick question about Microsoft. What do you think about Bill Gates?
Never met the guy.
Never met the guy.
Have you been to his house? Have you been to his
No,
house?
no, I haven't been to his house. There used to be this thing where when you ended an internship in Microsoft, there was a big party at your last day at Bill Gates' house.
Ooh.
But that doesn't happen anymore, and I never was an intern, so.
I guess he's not as much involved in the day-to-day, right? He's kind of
not anymore. I think he withdrew himself.
Right.
I would steal one of his trash cans right out of his bathroom. Because you know what? That's like gold-plated, whatever. It's mechanical. It's like data.
So
I think I've seen his house once, but
is there a Bill Gates Microsoft foosball team by any chance?
I don't think there is a Microsoft foosball team. However, there's a bit of a foosball scene within Microsoft.
Oh, nice.
But it's like 20-ish foosball players. We've got like a Teams chat channel and whatnot. We try to organize a bit, but it's tiny. Maybe we should create a Microsoft foosball team.
Love it. Go against Apple.
Oh yeah.
I think Clay, you had a question, but I wanted to just get again another shout out to all the people that are joining us right now on Twitch. We appreciate it. That's what we're going to be doing.
Yep,
and
this is the thing.
Clay, for
please follow us. Follow us.
Follow.
Please.
Yeah, and Venmo me. Well, pickles. I like pickles and
sauerkraut.
Anyways, go ahead, Clay. Go ahead. No, I got my own.
I remember. So I saw you post on the Modern Foosball Facebook page recently, and I'm trying to remember if that's where I saw this, or if it was somewhere else. But there is a certain amount of players at a tournament, like a local tournament, where Modern Foosball is free. Correct? What are the numbers on all that?
The numbers are quite simple, I think. It's if you've got a tournament or really an event within your tournament that has 16 or fewer players in it, it will be free of charge. Software will only charge you for every player in an event above that number. And the charge is 75 cents per player.
Wow.
So if you've got 18, that's $1.50. If you've got 20, that's free, and it just builds up from there to like big numbers when you've got hundreds of people.
Love it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a
Are
great.
people using this for their local DYP at all?
Some do. I feel if you go to the homepage and click on tournaments, you'll see that most of the tournaments are the local ones. Currently, sadly, they aren't organized very well, so it's just one big feed, but hopefully in the future there'll be more wisely organized.
Cool. Thank you. Appreciate it. That's all I got.
Awesome.
So just a real quick question when it comes to Inside Foos and streaming the matches. Do you think you'll ever get into that aspect of it?
It would be nice to have a place where you can click in a bracket and see a video.
Yeah. Any ideas as how we could do that more effectively?
I don't think that's anything that I will be able to get into immediately, but that's definitely on my mind.
Right. Now, I've heard some people suggest that every table should have its own camera, its own phone, something like that can go independently onto the net.
Technically, it's possible, but you kind of run into different kinds of problems if you try to do it, because the bandwidth of not even the internet, but even the local network you have becomes quite problematic. 50 devices using the same or multiple Wi-Fi channels is demanding.
Right.
And it's just different types of problems, not to mention the cost of being able to provide this equipment and then to be able to set it up and tear it down in an organized way.
Right, along with the tables, of course. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Now it's great to see that you're at this, and we're so happy that you decided to join us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Now, of course, as time goes on, as new innovations are developed by Modern Foosball, and of course your amazing coding brain, we'd love to have you back and talk about anything that you've got coming up, and feel free to use this as a forum.
That'd be fantastic. I will have as it's an ongoing project. I definitely will have things I'd like to release and maybe talk about some more. But this will be definitely in the future.
Let's keep in touch that way and let us know.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well,
Do you have any last parting words for us there before we shut it down here?
Goodbye.
You can insult Mark if
Well,
you
I just
like.
want to thank you guys for having me. This has been a blast. Plus, I like hanging out with you, so I'm just really hopeful to see you all in South Florida football. Beachtown Deep Down is where it's at.
Dude, you got to go. I love your cyberpunk metaverse thing, whatever the hell you got going on.
That's great. That is a great background.
Your anime girlfriend or whatever. But yeah, dude, you got to go to the Beachtown Beatdown. Clay, you got to go to the Beachtown Beatdown. You got to go. You got to go. Let's go. Come on, I'm gonna be there. Adam's gonna be there. It's gonna be an amazing party. Tommy Atkinson, Tom Yor. Last thing, Tom Yor. I texted with him today. He's still looking forward to talking smack. He's so looking forward to it. And Clay, I think you'd hurt Tom's feelings if you get in a match with him.
You think I would hurt Tom's feelings? You think Tom has feelings? That's adorable.
Well,
right?
Maybe I'm wrong.
That's warm and fuzzy.
Yeah. That's okay. I'm down. I'm down to hurt any, and I can throw just a little dagger with like a little 2-word sentence, like 2 or 3 words. I'm good. You're going to therapy tomorrow.
It's gonna be good.
Right.
Okay, Hannibal Lecter. Okay, Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. For sure,
So let me try and get this right again. Dawid Kala. Is that correct?
Yes, that's good. That's good.
Dawid Kala. Okay. I listen and I pick it up. It just takes me a few tries to get it down.
Yeah.
And not
You are the whole enchilada.
Yep.
Tom.
Yep. With the N emphasized.
The N.
Enchilada. So no, it's great having you. Thank you so much for being with us, and we're looking forward to, of course, the near future. And thank you for being our first guest on Twitch TV. That's saying something right there.
Yeah.
That is an automatic admission to the Hall of Fame at FoosTalk Live.
Yeah, because the Modern Foosball wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Completely changing how people are able to enjoy their tournament experience. Whatever, but thanks for being on our first live show here.
Ooh, love it.
All right, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, so
thanks everyone.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And guys, we're going to be getting together again next weekend. Any parting shots before we part company with our audience?
I'll hop in here first and just say that if you're listening on Twitch, I hope it was enjoyable, and we'll be here as long as there's people who want us to be. So give your feedback. Let Tom and them know whether or not this is enjoyable. And
partially true. We'll be here for as long as Clay can self-entertain with.
I will teach somebody else how to do this, because I am not a fan of being the only one who can do something, and I will. Right. That's whatever. So hope it was.
I'm your Huckleberry
for me.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Cool, man. All right. Hey, this was good. This was really fun.
Cool.
Hey, Tom.
Adam.
Here's my thing. I had no idea that the intros that you did weren't canned. I didn't realize. I didn't realize you were doing them live. That's how much of a freaking pro you are. Because I was watching
the ultimate pro.
Talk. I was watching you to the intro, and I was like, "Wait, that dude's talking." I thought he just pressed the button.
Well, part of it's recorded, but not all of it. I mean,
I was watching you.
Yeah. No, it keeps me entertained.
Okay, Mike. By the way, there's somebody in the chat talking. Mike, I hear what you're saying. Well, that's another conversation. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
Oh yeah, I love you. Here's a virtual hug. Boom.
Yeah.
Time for bed, man.
Yo.
Whatever you do at 9:50. Okay. Thank you, David. Whatever the hell your name is. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you everybody out there. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Hard As I Can, Mike. All you people out there, you crazy fools just following us. I appreciate it. I don't know how much Mark doesn't. Mark has no soul.
No.
Nah.
Well, we have to certainly send our best to Jim Stevens, who missed the best part of the show tonight, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I'm sure he's having great times with his relatives from Hawaii. But But we will be back together.
Any parting shots though?
Parting shots.
Get this thing back on the rails.
Just kidding.
Take control, Tom.
Oh well, if you want some shots, Jello shots. Yeah.
Dude, I gotta go, dude.
No, we're done.
Yes.
That's it, right?
So, and guys, we'll be back together again next week. And in the meantime, we do have the FoosTalk Live Foosball Beat. If you want to get caught up on what's happening with the tournament scene, we'll catch you next week right here on FoosTalk Live.
Foosball tournaments are everywhere. FoosTalk Live proudly presents a weekly update of events near you with the FoosTalk Live Tournament Beat. Here's what's up. PDX Foosball announces the Home Turf Monster DYP, June 11th and 12th. Home Turf Sports Bar and Grill, 13,500 Southwest Pacific Highway, Tigard, Oregon. Here comes the 2022 Seattle Open, June 17th through 19th at Bolero, South Seattle, 100 Andover Park West, Seattle, Washington. It's the 2022 ITSF World Cup and World Championships, June 28th through July 2nd, Nantes, France. Don't miss the next 518 Foosball Smashdown, Saturday, July 9th, Trickshot Billiards and Wicked Eatery, Route 9, Clifton Park, New York. The South Florida Foosball Club proudly presents the 2022 Beachtown Beatdown, July 15th through the 17th in Lake Worth Beach, Florida. Don't forget the 2022 National Championship North American Cup, July 20th through July 24th. It's been moved to the Clarion Hotel and Conference Center, Lexington, Kentucky. Don't miss the $12,000 Mississippi State Foosball Championships, August 5th through the 7th. Holiday in Pearl, 110 Bass Pro Drive, Pearl, Mississippi. It's the first annual Ozark Open, Sunday, August 15th, 2588 North Gregg Street, Fayetteville, Arkansas. Just announced the 2022 Tornado Championships, August 31st through September 5th. The Clarion Hotel, 1950 Newtown Pike, Lexington, Kentucky. The 2022 $10,000 Michigan State Foosball Championships, sponsored by Foos Gadgets, September 30th through October 2nd at the Hilton Garden Inn, Lansing West, Lansing, Michigan. The South Florida Foosball Club is about to announce Thunderdome 2 for this October. Listen to this space for all the details. Each week, we do our best to give you the most up-to-date listing of foosball tournaments near you. If you have an event you would like to add, send us all the details at info@foosballradio.com. Tune in every week for the FoosTalk Live Foosball Beat. FoosTalk Live is a product of Inside Foos, all rights reserved. Brought to you in part by InsideFoos.com, Protectoflex, Rodlock, 518 Prince, Foosballers the Movie, the USTSO, and Foosball Clubs USA. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live. In the meantime,
we'll see you foozin'.